down to lie flat on our bellies, and then bring our hands into a fist and place them into the soft part of the belly between the hip bone and the belly button. Maybe just a little bit under the belly button. So you don't want to be right on your stomach, but we're just trying to get into the hip flexors a little bit. And it should feel quite strong if you get onto the right spot. And just move your hips very gently side to side. If you can't feel the psoas, you'll feel it straight away if you're on it, because it just does feel quite uncomfortable, but it should also give you a very nice release. So when you find your spot, just closing down the eyes and starting to breathe into your belly. And as you exhale, just try to soften around your fists. Taking a few breaths there in that shape. And really accentuating the inhale, feeling your belly against the mat. And as you exhale, just as if your muscles are made of clay, just letting them mold around your hands. Taking about 3 to 5 more breaths in this manner. You can definitely move the hips a little bit side to side if you feel like you're on the right spot and it's getting nicely into that area. We definitely all have tight psoas and we don't release them enough. And often we feel it through a tight lower back. So just using this breath today to try and release in this area. You might feel the fronts of your shoulders coming down towards the mat a little bit more as you exhale. Just noticing what you can soften here. Miraculously, you might feel a sudden release in the lower back. I know I just did. On the next inhale, let's inhale together. Exhale to let go something through the mouth. And then gently removing your fists from your belly, bringing your arms out to a T, and keeping the right arm extended in line with the right shoulder, bending the left hand under the left shoulder, just rolling onto your right. Moving slowly here, opening up through that right shoulder, maybe relaxing the head to the mat. Taking 1 or 2 deep breaths here. And staying here if this is enough in this shape for you today, or if you want to and it feels good, bending the left knee and placing the left foot behind your elongated right leg. And again, breathing here, exploring. You can move slightly side to side to find your center in this shape. And then again, staying there, or if you want to half bind the left hand around your back. Of course, the invitation is there to do that. Taking 2 breaths here. And staying here, if you want to move on, lifting the left knee up towards the ceiling, so your left foot's off the ground, taking hold of the front of the left ankle with your left hand and opening the leg out behind you. So you're clasping the left ankle with your left hand and you're just moving the knee back a little bit so you can feel that opening in the front of the quad. If you go to this shape and it feels way too strong, just come out of it. Sounds so simple, and it is simple. No point fighting with shapes that we feel awful in. Wherever you are, slowly releasing the top leg above and then onto the bottom leg. Left hand back to the mat. Slowly rolling over onto your belly and then extending the left hand, right arm under the shoulder, coming onto the other side. So rolling onto your left side. And then taking a few breaths here first in the shape, relaxing the head to the ground, to the mat if it feels comfortable to do so. And then deciding, will you step your top leg, your top foot behind the elongated left leg? If you did so on the other side and it feels awful on this side, don't do it. The right shape for you is the shape that feels good in your body, regardless of what anyone else is doing. They're living in their own bodies. We all have our own histories and ways of coming to yoga, and no one is the same. We've all taken different paths to get there. Deciding if you're going to half bind the right arm. And if you are going to do that, placing the arm behind your back. Some of us come to yoga with backgrounds of gymnastics, ballet, and some of us come to yoga with no physical exercise in our histories at all. Of course, our bodies are going to be trained in different ways. Again, deciding if you'll lift the right leg up and reach back with your right hand for the front of the ankle, maybe finding a quad stretch here. Really flexing that ankle as you move the ankle towards the back of the room if you're coming into this shape. Opening up through the quad. And then gently releasing the leg if you're holding it. Replacing the right hand. Coming back onto the belly. Hands under the shoulders. Gently resting the chin on the mat. And then pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. The hips into the mat. Inhale, let's round ourselves up for Cobra Pose. And then exhale to release. 2 more like that. Inhale, lifting up for your Cobra Pose, squeezing the glutes together. Tops of the feet push into the mat. Exhale, coming down. 1 more like that. Inhale, lifting up for Cobra Pose. Really move the elbows together as you move your heart to the front of the room. Pelvis and tops of the feet into the mat. And then relaxing the hands down. Slowly bringing yourself into a child's pose. Heels towards the hips. And then reaching the arms forward. Maybe your forehead comes towards the mat. Finding 2 breaths here. Letting the breath return to normal. Every time you exhale, let go of something that's not serving you. Maybe it's a feeling in the body. Maybe it's an emotion. Maybe it's a thought that's not helping your practice. And let's inhale onto all fours, finding your shape here for a couple of rounds of cat-cow. Just moving here intuitively, whichever way you need to, whether it's moving your hips side to side, doing a traditional cat-cow, maybe you're doing figure 8s, moving your hips towards your heels. Just finding a little bit of movement here in your body. And then coming to stillness. So we're going to reach the right leg back, stretch it towards the back of the room, flexing the hips. And then step your right foot outside or behind your right hand and coming into a runner's lunge. So I like to lift my back knee and then place it on the mat so that I'm on the muscly part on the top of the knee, not on the actual kneecap itself. So finding your runner's lunge here, you can have your elbows to the mat or your hands on the mat. And then just let your right knee open out to the side. So you're coming onto the blade, the little toe side of the right foot, if that feels comfortable for you. And again, you can just move side to side. You can definitely be on your palms if it doesn't feel nice to come to your forearms. And then from there, we're going to, you can stay here. That's the first option. Otherwise, we're going to bend the back foot up and take our right hand and search for the front of the left ankle. And then again, flex the foot, opening the heart, relaxing the neck, but keeping it in line with the spine. And just taking a breath here, wherever you are. Really deepening your focus internally in your body. And then very gently releasing the back foot if you've got it. Coming back, placing both hands onto the mat and reaching your hips back and straightening your front leg into your half honeyman without locking out the knee. Taking a couple of breaths here. Your hands can be flat on the floor. You can be on your fingertips. Just explore the shape in your body. And then we're going to inhale, bending the front knee. We're going to exhale, bringing the left foot behind us. So it's parallel to the short side of the mat. And we're going to find our gate pose. So we're just going to crawl our hands around, left hand outside the left leg, right arm up. It's a bit of a different way of coming into gate. Our right foot is flat on the mat. Maybe we're going to reach the top arm up and over our head. Maybe we're going to look at the ceiling. And then we're going to bring our right hand back to the mat and crawl all the way back to the front of the mat through our half honeyman and coming back onto hands and knees. Just taking a cat-cow here. I don't know about you, but my feet are cramping doing all of this. So I'm just tucking the toes for a minute to release them. And then finding stillness, we'll extend the left leg back. Really reaching through the left leg, engaging all the muscles there, pulling the belly to the spine. And then exhale, stepping the left foot behind or beside the left hand. And then I like to lift the right knee and place it down so you're on the muscle part of the knee, not on the kneecap itself. It can feel really yucky being on the kneecap. And just taking a few moments here to move side to side, breathing into the shape and then deciding, will you stay on your palms or will you come down onto your forearms? And then wherever you are, letting your left foot roll over onto the blade of your left foot. So your pinky toe side of your left foot. Knee opens to the side. Taking a breath or two here. And then deciding, will you bend your back leg and reach over with your left hand to find the front of your right ankle. If you do that, opening up through the heart. Taking a couple of breaths. And then slowly releasing the back leg, bringing yourself into half honeymoon. Without locking out the left knee, moving the hips back. Making sure we're not letting the head hang. And then we'll bring our right hand to the right and just swing our right foot to the left side of the mat. And then walk our hands around to find gate pose. So you can be on your fingertips on the right hand, left arm up. Your left foot is flat on the mat. Reaching your left arm over your ear. Just feeling a beautiful opening from your left ankle to your left fingertips. And then left hand back to the mat. Walking back to the front of the mat. Into your half honeymoon for a breath. You can lift your balls of your feet, of your left foot off the mat if that feels good. And then exhaling that leg back into all fours. Placing your hands under your shoulders. Spinning your elbows towards your ribs, coming into a half chaturanga. Our knees are still on the floor for this one. And then choosing whether it'll be up dog or cobra. If it's up dog, the tops of your feet and your palms are the only things on the mat. Opening your heart to the front, squeezing the shoulders. And then exhaling, rolling back, coming into your down dog. Pedaling the feet here for a few breaths. And whenever you're ready, finding your shape in down dog. Hips up towards the ceiling. Thinking about the heels going towards the mat. They definitely don't have to touch. Little bend in the knees. Nice long spine from your hips all the way down to your head. One more breath here. On the next inhale, let's lift the right knee up, the right leg up behind you. And exhale, tiger curl, knee to your chest. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to your chest. Now keeping your right leg tucked into your chest, drop your left foot into gate pose. So it's flat on the short side of your mat. And then think about coming into a side angle here. So your top arm lifts up, opening your heart to the right. And then exhaling, coming back through center. Keep that knee tucked to your chest. And then step it behind your extended left leg for wild thing. So you're coming onto the blade of your left foot. Or you can stay in a tiger curl, Susie, if that feels better. And then from there, we're going to look at the front of our mat. You can use your hand if you need to, and just step your right foot to the top of the mat. And slowly make your way up into a high lunge. Bending through the front knee, extending through the back leg. Feel that opening in the front of the left glute, left thigh. Squeezing the left glute. Dropping the shoulders from the ears. And then starting to straighten through the front leg. Pouring ourselves down towards your shin or the mat for your pyramid pose. Dropping the head when you feel ready. If you get a better stretch, keeping your body in a halfway lift, looking forward, of course, do that. Only drop your body down if it feels better to do that. One more breath here. And then we're going to walk our fingers forward of the right foot, bend through the right knee, coming through a supported warrior three. So belly to spine, shoulders back, extending the left leg in your warrior three. And then we're gently going to place the left foot on the mat, coming into warrior one. So moving slowly so you can feel the transitions. Making sure your right knee isn't dropping in. You want it going more to the right side of the mat in your warrior one. And then we're going to sweep our hands behind our back, interlock the fingers, move the fists away from your back, and then lean forward over your front leg for humble warrior. So decide if your humble warrior is going to be leaning forward, floating above your right thigh, or if you're going to drop your right shoulder in line with your knee. If you come down into this variation and it doesn't feel nice, come back to the other variation. Take the struggle out of the practice. You want to be moving slowly and seamlessly without the breath being choppy. Inhale to halfway lift, gazing forward. We're going to come onto the ball of the back foot and then slowly float our way up into warrior three. So engage that back leg, squeeze the shoulders back to open the heart, gazing forward. And then either staying there or you can start to bend the back knee. If you've got the flexibility and you can thread your foot in between your hands, do that. Otherwise, just taking hold of the left foot with one hand or both, we're going to come into a dancer's pose. So either way, you can hold onto the foot with both hands or just with one hand. Beautiful, girls. Very, very nice. And then from your dancer, releasing that, bringing the knee to the chest, giving it a little bit of a squeeze, and then just crossing the left leg over the right and making your way down into a seated twist. So we'll just sit our hips down first. Left leg crosses right. And then we'll take our right arm, hugging our left knee to our chest and come into that seated twist. Try and make sure that both hip bones are even to the ground. And sit up first before you twist. So you can feel the length in the spine. And then we're going to take our right hand to the outside blade of the left foot and come into a seated open twist. So lengthening that leg, feeling the foot pulling away and the hand pulling your foot towards you. And then maybe you're going to float your left arm to the back of the mat. Maybe you're going to look at your left hand. And then sweeping your left hand over your right, so you're crossing your wrists. Maybe you're going to bring that left leg towards your nose. Nose towards your leg. And then exhale, slowly releasing, standing back up and bringing your feet side by side on the mat. Inhaling to halfway lift, exhaling to fold. Maybe we'll hold on to opposite elbows. Maybe we'll sway side to side. Just letting the breath return to normal. Relaxing anything that's feeling a little bit tight. Just breathing into it. Relaxing the mind. And then inhale, bending the knees, slowly starting to roll yourself up. Arms sweep out to the side, up ahead, watching the fingertips touch together. Exhaling, coming back into a forward fold. Stepping your feet back into downward facing dog. So we're coming onto the second side. I suggest doing the sequence on the second side, Susie, if you want to finish early. And then we'll finish after that sequence. But let's do the sequence on the second side to equal the sides out. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. Feel the body floating forward over the wrist. Inhale, lifting the leg up behind you. Exhale, knee to chest. So round your back up towards the ceiling as you bring the knee to the chest and then drop the heel of the right foot so that your foot's flat on the floor like gate pose, and then come into your side plank on this side. You can definitely keep your top arm on the mat if you're finding it too strenuous here in your side plank. And then right hand down, we're just going to come back onto the ball of our right foot, stepping the left foot behind a straight right leg for your wild thing. Maybe looking up at your top arm. You can be in a side plank if this is too tricky. And then looking forward to the top of the mat, using your hand if you need to. We're going to step the left foot to the front of the mat and find our high lunge. Rolling up slowly. Bending into the front knee, extending the back leg. You're on the ball of the back foot. Widen your stance if you're finding balance a bit tricky. I feel like you can bring your right foot a bit more to the right, Susie. Nice, yeah. And then bend into the front knee, extending through the back leg, shoulders away from the ears. And then starting to straighten through the front leg, leaning forward for pyramid pose, keeping a slight bend in the knee, the left knee. You can bring your hands to your shins. You can come into a halfway lift, only if it feels good, folding your body down your leg. Taking a breath here, whichever variation you're in. And then inhale, walking your hands forward of your left foot, bending your left knee, coming into your supported warrior three. So feel with the support of your hands how you can engage the back leg, flexing the heel, opening the heart towards the front of the room. And then gently stepping the right foot down, heel to the mat, coming up into warrior one. And not too much is changing. We're moving slowly with control, shoulders away from the ears, squeezing that right glute. And then sweeping your hands behind your back, taking the opposite clasp if you can, moving your fists away from your body, opening your heart, and then leaning forward for your humble warrior. And deciding, are you going to float above your thigh, or are you going to bring your shoulder in inside your right knee? So there's no right or wrong. The best option is the one that feels good in your body. If your shoulder's inside your knee, letting your head drop towards the mat, just make sure you're swinging your left hip in, not out to the side. One more breath here. Letting something go. Inhale to halfway lift, coming back onto the ball of the back foot and floating yourself up into warrior three. Opening through the heart, lifting the palms away from your hips as if someone's pulling your arms back. And then deciding for your dancer's pose. Will you hold the clasp or will you let go of the hands? You can try both. I sometimes get a strong cramp, but either way, coming into your variation of dancer's pose. Opening your heart to the front of the room, reaching your ankle to the back of the room. Lovely. And then bringing your leg through, squeezing your right knee to your chest. And then crossing right leg over left. Making your way down into a seat. We're taking a moment to find your shape here. You can have your left leg extended or wrapped around your hip. Right knee bent. Left arm reaches forward, squeezing the knee to the chest. And then gently placing the right hand behind you. Inhale to sit up. Exhaling to twist. Taking a breath here. And then taking your left hand to the outside of your right foot, extending your right foot to the front of the room, flexing the foot. Nice. Sit up nice and tall and pull your shoulder back. Doesn't matter if your knee's bent. Maybe you're going to reach your right arm to the back. So sometimes we do this shape standing. Just feel how accessible it is sitting. What it feels like. And then we're going to inhale and bring our right arm over, cross it over our left. Bind with the foot, bending the elbows, bringing the leg towards the forehead. And then gently releasing, coming back to all fours. And let's just do a couple of rounds of down dog, not down dog, cat cow. And then we're going to come onto our shins for a camel pose. So Susie, it's 6 o'clock. I'm not sure if you want to finish or you feel like you can keep going. Okay. Take a few moments of Shavasana. We'll see you next time. Dorit, how are you going? Okay. Just give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Excellent. All right, so let's come into camel. Hands to heart center. Squeezing the glutes, pushing the thighs to the front of the room. Tall spine, and then start to round your spine over, but make sure you've got that squeeze of the glutes and you're engaging through the front of the legs, and then maybe leaning back. So it's not a full camel. We're doing a strong quad stretch here. Leaning back and coming forward. Relax everything. Take a breath. Squeezing the glutes. Opening through the front of the leg. So this is all engaged here. Belly to spine, hands to heart center. Leaning back, so your body's on an angle and you're going back towards your legs, but you're keeping everything engaged. And then coming back up. So hands to the mat, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Bending the knees. Moving the hips one side to the other, releasing whatever needs to be released here. And then finding stillness. On the next inhale, reaching the right leg up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, stepping through for a high lunge. Inhale, coming up. We've been in this shape a few times, so just notice if something's shifted, something's changed. And then blossoming open to warrior two. So check your arms, making sure they're in a straight line with each other. And then gazing forward over the front middle finger. Taking a breath here, belly to spine. Your torso's in the middle of your hips, not leaning one way or the other. And then left hand down, right palm to ceiling, reversing your warrior two. Inhale, opening up, straightening through the front leg without locking, and leaning over for your pyramid pose. Right hips, right glute sucks in towards the left thigh. Arms reaching away from each other. And then inhale, coming back up, reversing the shape. Bending the front knee, coming into your side angle. So fingertips inside the foot, or forearm to the thigh. Top arm up. Maybe top arm reaches over. Stretching from your little toe all the way through to your fingers. And then inhale, bring your left hand behind your back for a half bind. You can definitely stay here. Or if you feel that it's in your practice and you feel the space for today, you can come into a full bind. If it doesn't feel like a full bind type of day, stay in the half bind. You're in the full bind or in the half, open the top shoulder towards the ceiling. Taking 2 breaths here. Very nice. Can you open your heart more to the side? Lovely. Beautiful. And then slowly releasing, coming back through warrior two, reversing the warrior two, hands to the front of the mat, coming through a vinyasa if you like, 3-legged if you like, or meeting in downward facing dog or child's pose. So you do you. Nice. Exhaling, downward dog. Taking a breath in, let something go. Inhaling, reaching the left leg up. Exhaling, stepping through for high lunge. Rolling yourself up. Feeling the shape. Fingertips reach up, but shoulders away from the ears. Pushing through the back foot. Bending through the front knee. And then blossoming open to your warrior two, dropping the back heel. Adjusting the foot if you need. Making sure your left knee is tracking to the left side of the mat, not dropping in. Nice. And then look at your arms and make sure they're in a straight line with each other. Beautiful. Away from the shoulders. And then right hand back, flipping the left palm up and over. Feel that opening through the side body. Inhale, coming back through warrior two, straightening the left leg and leaning over for your triangle. We're not dropping the hands today. We're just stretching our arms away from each other. Make sure the front knee is not locked out. And then slight bend into the front knee as we reverse the shape for a breath. And coming into our side angle. So deciding if it's palm, forearm to the thigh, or fingers inside the left foot. Top arm up. Maybe top arm over. Squeeze the glutes together to open the chest more to the side of the room. That's nice. And then exhale, coming into your half bind. We're in a side angle, the top arm's in a half bind. Nice. Open your heart towards, yeah. See if you can move your top shoulder back a little bit. And then maybe coming into a full bind if it feels like it's something you want to do today. And then use your shoulder against your inside thigh to move your chest to the front of the room. So you can open your top shoulder, sorry, to the side of the room. Nice. Taking a breath here. Exhaling, letting it go. Releasing the shape. Hands to the mat. Stepping back through a vinyasa or not. Maybe what you did on the other side, maybe not. Either way, we're going to meet in a child's pose. So finding your way into child's pose. Head to the mat. Hips to the heels. Softening here. Let's inhale onto all fours. Gently lower ourselves down onto our belly. We'll bend our right foot towards our glute and take hold of the right foot and just bring the heel towards the glute, if that feels good for you. If you feel like you can twist the hand around and face the fingers towards the front of the room, and it gives you a better stretch, of course, do that. If it feels awful, why would you? And then exhale, releasing the right leg, bending the left leg, foot up towards the ceiling, and then reaching back with your left foot, bringing your heel towards your glute. So taking a breath there and then decide on your variation with the hands. If it feels nice to turn the fingers to the front, you get a better stretch. The invitation's there. And then exhale, slowly release. Reaching the hands towards your feet, palms flat. Let's inhale to round the chest up, squeezing the shoulder blades together, floating the palms off the mat. Pelvis to the floor, squeezing the legs, maybe lifting the legs up as well. Exhale, lowering down. Taking a breath. And let's do that again. So reaching the arms towards the feet as we roll into our Cobra Pose. Palms float up, legs float up. Everything's engaged, but the neck is lengthened. Imagine you've got a little blueberry under your belly button and you don't want to squash it. You're engaging the belly to the spine. Exhaling and release. Taking a breath here. On this last round, doing what we just did, or if you want to take the full variation, bending the knees up towards the heels, up towards the ceiling, reaching back and holding onto the front of the ankles with both hands. Inhaling to squeeze the shoulder blades, lifting the chest. And as you inhale further, lifting the legs up towards the ceiling. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Dhanurasana. Make sure the neck isn't crunching. Extend the neck. As you inhale, maybe lifting a little bit further. As you're exhaling, slowly coming down, releasing that all. One palm above the other, gently placing the forehead onto the palms. Taking a few breaths here, just receiving the effects of these back bends on your body. Noticing the energy swirling around, the state of your breath, what your mind's doing. Softening as you exhale, releasing the jaw. On the next inhale, we're going to lift our chest up again, bend our knees, holding onto the front of the ankles. You can stay here, or if you want to try, you can roll over onto your right side. So you're pulling your ankles away from you. You're on your right side, coming back through center, slowly with control, rolling onto the left. In your Dhanurasana. Let's go once more each side. So slowly through center, over onto the right side, trying to take any jerkiness out of the movements. Slowly coming through center, over to your left. Very nice. And then gently rolling forward onto your belly, releasing the ankles, other hand on top, forehead to the top of your hands. 2 deep breaths here. And then on the next inhale, we're just going to roll over onto our back. Just any way that feels good for you. Roll onto your back, bringing your knees to your chest. A little rock and roll, side to side. And then opening up into your happy baby. Knees towards the armpits, holding onto the outside blades of your feet. Feet flush to the ceiling, making sure the whole sacrum is on the mat. Maybe a little rock side to side. Maybe lengthening the right leg out to the right. Bringing it back in. Maybe lengthening the left leg out to the left. Bringing it back in. Maybe opening both legs out to the sides. Trying to think about the sacrum flat on the floor. That's the most important thing. Engaging the belly to the spine. And then exhaling, bringing the soles of the feet together into Supta Baddha Konasana. Holding the outside blades of the feet and squeezing gently your feet towards your chest. Maybe a little rock. And then holding onto your right foot, extend your left leg down the mat and bring your right foot into the crease of your left armpit. And then wrap your right arm around the outside of your thigh and maybe clasp your hands. Flexing the right foot in this reclined pigeon pose. And again, just breathing into any sensations, definitely not through pain. If it's irritating any injuries or anything like that, just come into a much gentler version of the shape. You can come into a figure 4 with your left knee bent. So just using the breath, feeling out the shape. Take 2 more breaths here. And then without letting go of the right foot, let's lift the left leg up and bring the left leg into recline double pigeon. So the left knee's coming behind the right foot and the left ankle's coming behind the right knee. You might have to hold on to the outsides of the legs. It's a bit gentler than doing it seated, but it may still feel tight in some way. So hold on to the arches of the feet. Again, maybe a little miniature rock side to side. One more breath here. And then slowly release the left foot to the mat. Keep it bent, keep the knee bent. Release the right leg down the mat, long. And bring your left leg into your reclined pigeon. So you can hold on to the outside blades of your left foot first, coming into a reclined pigeon pose. And if that's enough for you, that's absolutely fine. If you've got the space and it feels good and you want to place the arch of the foot in the crook of your elbow and your other arm around your knee, of course that's available too. Wherever you are, little rocks. Deep, slow, long breath. Relaxing the head and the back to the mat below you. Two more breaths here. And then bending your right knee towards your right elbow. Bring your right ankle to your left knee and place your left ankle on your right knee. They mightn't touch each other, that's okay. We're in a double pigeon shape on our back. Can hold on to the outsides of the feet. Probably feels much nicer to do so. Two more breaths here. And then gently releasing both feet to the mat. Knees are bent, heels underneath, palms to the mat. We'll inhale, hips up, squeezing the glutes together. Palms gently on the mat for a bridge pose, making sure your chin is away from your chest. Exhale, slowly lowering down, one vertebra at a time. One more like that. So pushing through the feet, tilting the hips, squeezing the glutes, lifting the hips up. Exhale, coming down, one vertebra at a time. Keeping the feet hip distance apart where they are, opening your arms out to a T, gently lowering the knees over to the right. Maybe gazing over the left arm. Maybe placing the right ankle on the left knee. Without forcing or expecting the knee to go anywhere in particular. Just observing the feeling. And then replacing the right foot to the mat, bringing the knees up through center and gently switching sides. Right arm is extended, maybe gazing over the right arm. Staying there, or if you did so on the other side, or if you didn't and it feels good on this side, placing the left ankle over the right knee. Coming into the breath, relaxing the jaw, softening through the belly. One more breath here. As you exhale, uncrossing the ankle if it's been crossed, coming back through center, extending the right leg down the mat, extending the left leg down the mat. Arms come beside you, backs of the palms on the floor. Taking a deep breath in, letting go of the breath, the practice, any repetitive thoughts in the mind, any expectations, and come into your Shavasana. Relaxing the facial muscles, shoulders heavy on the mat, soft belly, relaxed legs. Shavasana. I'll let you know when it's time to wake up. So just welcome this rest to the body and the mind. On the next inhale, slowly start to deepen the breath. Bringing your attention back into the body. Just taking note of how the body feels. How the mind feels. If anything's shifted since you first started the practice tonight. Bringing some movement to the fingers and the toes. Keeping your eyes closed, gently making your way up to a seat in any way that feels comfortable for you. Bringing the hands to heart center and just noticing the feeling of stillness in the body, calm in the mind, and carry this feeling out with you to your night, to your day tomorrow. Bowing forward, together we say Namaste.